Most people think that we left society because we wanted to live a slow, romantic life out here in the forest. And sure, that's a part of it. But the main reason is that I don't want my daughter to grow up in a system that I don't believe in. I want my daughter to grow up in a free way, in her own unique way. Unfortunately, we can't homeschool our kids in Sweden yet. There was a time when we could do it, but some idiots have now decided that homeschooling your children is not permitted. And so we're thinking about moving abroad for half of the year during the winters and then coming back to Sweden during the summers. I don't want my daughter to grow up in a system run by rich pedophiles. Do you? I don't see the point in growing up in a system where everybody follows the same path and can't express or explore their way of living life. So that's why we created our own little world out here in the forest. Here we and our daughter can grow up in our own unique free way without having to follow anybody else's expectations and already walked paths. You know, I believe that every human should explore their way and their path, and in today's school system that is very limited, and I think that in the schools in Sweden right now they're teaching kids to just follow one strict path to fit into a society, into a system that is very unhealthy and very unstable, that actually limits the capacity of a human being. And I don't want to be a part of that kind of society. I don't believe in the normal working days, like that you have to work on a job for 8 hours, 5 days a week, and then in exchange to have 2 days off to be with your friends and family. I believe that we can work less because I think the system is relying on consuming, and that's why we have to work so much, because we're consuming so much. So in a minimalist lifestyle we take away all the things that we don't need, all the stuff, all the social media. I mean, I do have social media for sure. I share these videos on YouTube, and I also share videos on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. But sometimes I go into Facebook and all I see is this Epstein files. They talk about this and that, and I mean, I just get so tired and disgusted by our world. And so I don't want to be a part of that world. I'm not interested. I'm doing completely fine out here, and I don't want my daughter to be a part of that world neither. Just how the gasoline can run out in a chainsaw, the energy can run out in a human, and my energy to keep believing in that system has run out. For sure, some parts I cannot be without, like gasoline or food. Yeah, I need some electronics and some car parts, but that's mostly it. It's actually quite funny. Before I started out with this YouTube channel, I thought that I want to start drop shipping products, and there's this big hype around drop shipping that is very easy and you can get very rich out of it. But the sad part about it is that our Mother Earth gets exploited. People on the other side of the world gets exploited because they have to work for a very, very low salary, and then I can be rich from that. No, 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 that's not for me. That's not how I want to do this. No. But I can't say I'm an angel either. I got some stocks in some very big companies, and so yeah. I guess everybody has to find their balance in life, and those stocks make it possible for our family to stay home here and to be home with our daughter. So this is the standard version of this video. If you want to see a more raw, uncut version of this video and many others, check out the link in the description. You can become a member now on YouTube, and then you get access to extended cut videos here on A Freedom Path. Sweden is the only country in almost whole Europe, but especially Scandinavia, that you can't homeschool in. We used to be able to do it, but that changed. If we look back at history, many civilizations have fallen, and history tends to repeat itself. We're thinking about different alternatives, and maybe to have a home in Southern Europe, to alter between, to be there during the winters and to be here in Sweden during the summers. And then we will be able to homeschool our children. I want more kids. But yeah, we'll see what the future has to bring. Would also be really, really meaningful to travel to South America and to study with the indigenous people over there. And this summer I hope to go to the north of Scandinavia and to learn more about my culture and my roots. You know, now with AI and all the things that are going on, I wonder if people actually use their brains anymore. No offense, but there are pretty fucked up things that are going on over there in the city. A new Harvard study found that homeschooled kids grow up more confident, kind, and engaged, and families across America are noticing. Nearly 5 million families have already pulled their kids from the public school system to give them something better. In 2025, you have more tools, resources, and support than ever before to make it happen. Your kids don't need more busy work. They need more personalized learning, real-world experience, and life where world becomes their classroom. Yeah. The picture of the homeschooled student that emerges from the data doesn't resemble the socially awkward and ignorant stereotype to which Miss Berthollet and others appeal. Rather, homeschooled children generally develop into well-adjusted, responsible, and socially engaged young adults. Yeah, they're also saying that with smartphones and social media apps, there have been increased depression, anxiety, and school loneliness. Cyberbullying, sexting, and phubbing, I don't know what that is, have also become more common in children's daily lives, especially in school settings. We might expect that these issues may be less common among homeschoolers than their public school. Yeah. I will definitely fight to homeschool our daughter and our future kids. And hopefully I don't have to fight for it. For me, it's more important to focus on the positive sides of this world and shining my light around me and yeah, putting my energy towards that instead of reading news about negative things happening in our society, in the system, and instead, yeah, keep thriving in our little world. When I read news and what's going on in society, I get lost. I get confused because there are things that I can't change, and so then I do better off with just staying away from that and focus on the things I can change. I just can't understand that some people want to live a life working at a job 5 days a week for, no, you go to school at 6 years old, and after that you stay busy for 5 days a week until you are 65 years old. That's the mainstream road. What? It's like, I can't understand how some people, how, how so many people want to live in that kind of system. It doesn't make sense. You know, I think alternative ways of living should be more spoken about, and that people should be informed about other ways of living. And so, if you are one of them, subscribe to this channel if you want to know more about how we live. We live in a very free way. If we go even deeper, it feels like the system wants us to stay numb for almost our whole life, and especially the part of life where we can actually make change. So yeah, there are pretty evil forces that are running this world. But yeah, I wanted to give you some facts and some history about homeschooling in Sweden. So, according to the Swedish Education Act, all children subject to compulsory education must attend school. Home education in which parents take fully responsible for all teaching is in principle prohibited. There is no statutory right to homeschool based on philosophical or pedagogical reasons. Since a reform of the Education Act in 2011, the regulations have become significantly stricter. In order for any form of education in the home to be approved, extraordinary circumstances are required. This refers to very specific situations, often medical or similar reasons. In many countries, including several in Europe and North America, homeschooling is legal and regulated. Sweden is one of the few countries in the European Union where homeschooling is in practice prohibited, based on personal philosophical or pedagogical preferences. Yeah, before 2011 you could do it, but however, after the legal reform, the possibilities were significantly stricter. As a result, Sweden today has much more restrictive position compared to the past and compared to many neighbors countries. So, some Swedish families who wish to homeschool have moved to Swedish-speaking region of Åland, which applies educational obligation rather than compulsory school attendance under Finnish law. This provides greater flexibility for home education. Yeah, luckily for us, we have family on Åland. Elin's dad and his side of the family are from Åland, and then we can just move to Åland. My dream is to homeschool or free school our children together with other families in a way that nurtures their exploration and their individual paths. So, yeah, how that will take place, we'll see. That's the plan. There are also very good alternatives here in Sweden. Waldorf schools. And if we stay in Sweden, our children will definitely go to a Waldorf school. I went to a Waldorf school, and I'm so thankful for that. It's a very beautiful way of seeing life and approaching life. Bumbity bum bum bum! So, a freedom path. Subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments, do any of you guys homeschool your children? And how and where? And yeah, please like this video. It's a huge support for us, and it's just a button click for you. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. Choo choo choo!